welcome back to Legally Blind Journal. This is number 21. Going to be talking today about some of the adaptive technologies that I've gotten. Not all of them. Got quite a few things to talk about there. It'll take a while. I'm going to talk a little bit about the progress on the setting up the farm. As I get questions all the time on that, and maybe touch a little bit on where I'm at on the guide dog questions and thinking through that part. So jumping right in, one of the things that I've been excited about that's been coming, and that is this adaptive technologies. And so we're going to start off right there at the top in the upper left. So in the upper left, there is a little device that it's a liquid indicator. And basically, in a nutshell, what that does is there's these three little prongs, basically, that stick down, hangs on your glass. And as you can see in the upper left, first picture, the little metal prongs, if you can see it, and I apologize, I know some of us can't, but the little metal prongs there, they stick inside the glass, and that way, whenever liquid gets up to that point, when it hits the first two, it makes a certain sound, vibration, whatever, and when it hits the third one, again, makes a different one, so that you know. So essentially, you can put the level of the liquid where you want without doing the trick where you hold your finger inside and then get a little burn from the coffee and stuff. So really excited that that's here. I think that's going to be very helpful. So far, it's been really cool. I'm happy to have that and appreciate very much. You don't even realize this stuff is out there, obviously, but once you start going legally blind, you start figuring out different ways to do the same activities, as we talk about all the time. So the next thing on the list here is the MyCam, it's I can't ever get the name right, but basically it's the the Orcam MyEye is what they're called. So essentially what these are it's this little piece, if you can see it, it's this little, almost like a thumb drive is what this thing looks like if you are looking at it. It's attached to the side of your glasses. It comes with 3 different attachments initially. Obviously you can buy more. They've really thought ahead, makes it easy, because if you try and put it on backwards, the magnets are not going to allow it. It literally goes to fall off. It'll only stick the correct way, which that's really cool. And what this device does essentially is it's got a little camera, and it's got some, I don't know, magical light beams. I don't know what they are. But the point is that through hand gestures, you can point at something, and when it sees you point at it, it will go ahead and read it to you. And you can pair it to a Bluetooth, so that people don't have to basically hear it. You can just leave it like it is, which is, it's got its own speakers, which is pretty cool. And as you can tell, it's it's pretty light. I'm not saying it's as light as not having anything on your glasses. I mean, it's there, but it's not crazy from the weight perspective, which is really, really nice. And then if you can see the pictures in the upper left-hand side, upper right-hand side, it would be. So if you can see that, there is a little downward pointing stand that you can put the device into. And when you put it into that stand, then it's pointing down, and you can put documents underneath it. And again, it will read the documents out loud to you. And it does a pretty good job. I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with that. Also, it has the ability to identify people, because one of the things that a lot of legally blind people struggle with, and everybody's different. It's a spectrum, literally, but is identification of faces and people. And admittedly, for me, if you get roughly probably further than 8 feet away, maybe not even that far, it's hard for me to tell depth now, but I have no idea, who you are. So one of the things that the device will do, if you walk into a room, as you move your head and to look around the room, it'll read into your earbud the names of the people that you've loaded in. Now, you do have to load them in. I mean, it's not like magic, you load them into your contacts list and it pulls it from there, basically, but it's really cool. I'm excited to get it into like a grocery store, because as you look at labels and things, as long as it's on connected to a Wi-Fi source, it's supposed to, basically read off what that is and, go out and search the internet and whatnot, which I think that'll be pretty cool. I'm also looking forward to seeing if it can read the signs that tell you what's down each of the aisles. I've gotten mixed reports on whether or not it'll do that and how well it'll do that. So I'm very interested to see, because that's one of my big challenges. And yes, you can flag people down and you can ask and whatnot. But that said, that takes a little bit away of the independence away when you're doing that, versus just being able to do it. And so I am interested to see how the device works inside the stores, and I'll definitely report that back out. But really excited with it. So far, so good. The hand gestures are working pretty well. You can tell it with the hand gesture to start reading stuff. You can tell it to stop reading stuff. You can tell it to give you a description of the environment, essentially. Still working on that, but overall, it's pretty light and very, very functional, it seems. So I apologize. Bless me. And then moving down into the lower section here, into the lower left, that's where we're working on getting the property ready for the barn. The bottom left 2 pictures, basically started cutting down trees and cutting those up. Got family members helping, obviously. And I've definitely taken a lot of precautions with that project that, and when I was fully set, I wouldn't have. But you do things different. Again, it's common theme here. So, for instance, I'm using a electric chainsaw. So you take your finger off and it's done, and there's pros and cons to that. But for me, it seems to be much, much safer than what a gas one would be. I've got protective gear that I never honestly would have worn before. Protective helmet. I've got gloves. I've actually got chainsaw chaps that are going to, basically what they do is if you don't see your leg, you make a mistake, it won't cut into your leg. It actually gets bound up onto these special pants, essentially. And I wouldn't have worried about that stuff before, but obviously now, there's things that happen. I also am taking it extremely slow. If I go to cut a tree down, no one's around. And for me personally, these are all small trees. I'm not certain if I would attempt a full-grown tree or not. I don't think I would. Just because if it goes the wrong way, you got to run. I've got a really high chance of not seeing something and falling over and then getting crushed by a tree. That would kind of be an interesting thing to say, hey, Jesus, I got my dumb butt killed by a tree. So these are all small ones. Thank goodness the farm had been cleared before. So, the largest tree is like 4 or 5 inches in diameter, 15, 20 feet tall, not even probably, but probably 15-ish. And I'm not saying that can't hurt you, but it's not the full grown 30-foot tall, super heavy pine. I mean, these are all pretty small or pretty light. In fact, everything that we cut yesterday, I was able to just put a hand on it and push it the way I wanted it to fall, no matter what. So they're all pretty small, pretty light, which is why I'm willing to do it. And again, it goes back to got to take it really, really slow. Realize I'm not seeing everything that I would have before, and take that all into account. And even then, mistakes happen. I mean, I dropped a tree the wrong direction yesterday. But I had pre-planned that if that happened, I wasn't going to move, because it's a small tree, and quite frankly, it's really not going to hurt me much. And I would be hurt more by trying to run away with a chainsaw and being blind and not see what I'm trying to step on. And so there's things like that you got to kind of think through and really, really take your time with. And I was running the tractor yesterday and ended up backing into something. I'd be lying to say I know what it was. It was, it had to be a tree, but when I try and turn my head, I can't see everything. So there are some things where I just have to take a risk. And the bush hog, stopped me. So I'm sure there'll be some dents and bruises for the bush hog I got to beat out, but over time. But it's working. It just takes a little more time, and it really takes a lot out of you, though, with the concentration. I mean, I will say I worked for a few hours out there yesterday, and I did walk away with a pretty massive migraine, because again, there's a lot of focus and concentration, and that takes a toll. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Really enjoying it. So. The last thing we got down here in the bottom right, 2 pictures. So, in camping, there's a ridge line, and the ridge line essentially is a line up between 2 points that's up higher, and your tarps hang from that, your tent gets suspended from that, things like that. Well, as I've gone blind, I used to use a black ridge line with black press-it loops, and the press-it loop is a little loop that hangs off of the ridge line. They're really cool. You can slide them, but then if you apply any diagonal tension, they lock down and won't move. So you can slide them out a little bit, clip a line or a rope to it, and then as you slide them, because the tension becomes in a diagonal in the press-it, it won't slide back, and it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. But then you can just unhook and go. It's really awesome. My buddy taught me those, and the problem is that I was using a black bank line and a black to make the ridge line and the press-its, and I told him that I can't see it anymore at all. Just bleeds away. And so I'm not sure about, I'm not sure if camping is worth it. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And so, he was like, well, let's see if we can make it more visible, we might be able to make it more enjoyable. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's, I'm willing to try it. So, really cool. He took the time, in the bottom, right-hand corner there, he took the time to get some, reflective, orange, paracord to use as the ridge line, the main line. And it's actually got little silver reflectives in there so that, at night it should glow like, freaking Christmas. And during the day it's highly reflective orange. And then he used a night reflective, black, cordage to make the press-it loops. And again, that means that if any light hits it, it's going to glow like Christmas. And the important part about those two statements is that before I lost as much vision as I've lost, I'd gone camping with him probably in February ish, right after I'd gone to low vision, and it did not go well. At night I'm tripping over things. I was clipping myself with the lines, and during the day I was still hitting the lines because they didn't stand out. And so really cool of them to try, and really cool of them to make this. I mean, there are people who are 100% zero light acuity, so totally dark, and they go camping and hiking and stuff. So there is a way. I'm not saying there's not. What I'm saying is, and what I was saying to him was, it's a matter of, is it worth the squeeze? Is it, enough enjoyment for the amount of work it takes? So it's really cool of him to try and make it where it's less of a challenge and more of an enjoyment. So looking forward in the next couple of weeks to going and doing a little camping and trying out with the new low visibility rigging, and see if that shifts the perspective and makes it where it's an enjoyable experience again. And I hope it does. I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff over the years, and I'd love to be able to get back to that a little bit. Maybe sometime I'll share the stories, but the summary of one of them was we went and expected about a 2-week trip, and on the first day lost all of our food, and yet we're swept down going down a river, basically in the river, and no way to just return to the entry point. We had no choice but to get to our exit point, and literally lost all food on day one. So that's actually a fond memory. It was a huge learning about what you can do, and given a situation that you might think there's no way I would do X, Y, Z. Well, you'd be surprised. And so maybe sometime we'll get in and share that. But point is, it's always been a part of what I do and whatnot, and it's something that I started to step away from because of the visual issues, and not, again, it's not that you can't, and again, I want to stress that other than driving a car, as I've said before, don't want to kill somebody. But it's a matter of, is it worth the effort? And camping was starting to go the other direction for me. So we'll see. I'm hoping this shifts it back the other way, and I'm really appreciative of all of their efforts, of his efforts to try and make it something that we can still do. So, looking forward to kind of reporting on that and talking through that. So at any rate, as to the guide dog conversation, I'm still struggling with that. There are so many things that the guide dog could definitely help me with. It's a huge responsibility though, and it's, you got to be willing to work the dog every single day, and not just walk them, not just let them run around in your backyard like your pet. That's not it. You got to work them. And, they have skills, and those skills can diminish and will diminish if you don't, use them like anybody. So where I'm at with that is my wife really believes that I should apply and try and move forward with that. I'm not certain. Right now I feel like I'm able to do everything I want to do with the cane. Yes, there are many things that I'm doing with the cane that probably will be a lot easier with the guy, with the leader dog. Would definitely probably have more confidence and be less tired when I'm done. Are there certain activities I'm avoiding that I might not avoid? If I'm being honest, probably. Can I do them? Yes, but it goes back to the whole worth the squeeze thing, and would the guide dog shift that? Probably. So where I'm going with that is I'm still undecided. I'm going to keep thinking about that, and maybe in the next future videos and podcasts, maybe we'll come to a determination on which way to go. But I want to make sure it's the right decision, because it's a big decision, bottom line. So, at any rate, next time I think we'll be talking about a couple more pieces of the adaptive technology that were brought in, and how I'm using those, and how you might want to, if you can get your hands on them, and then probably report some on this Orcam MyEye as to what I've been able to do with it in a week or so, and hopefully it does the things that I'm looking for, and I think it will. Just from the testing I've done so far, it's been pretty impressive. So we'll see. All right. Well, until next time, y'all be good out there. Peace out, Girl Scout.